Let me know and I'll get started.
I'm ready. Let's roll. Let's go.
Here we go. 100.1 FM, AM 1020 KDK. This is Cars, Stars, and everything in between. He's the star Richard Bazzi from Schultz Ford, schultzford.com. I'm Bubba from 100.7 Star, and we've had some very real stars in the past. I got to tell you, if you know, you know. It's unbelievable. The Sopranos. Unbelievable. Ladies and gentlemen, if you watch The Sopranos, Bobby Baccalieri, Steve Schirripa is live. Richard Bazzi, can you believe this? This is awesome.
No, I really can't. It's Bobby Baccalieri, by the way. So just to keep the record straight. Stephen, good morning and thank you. And it's wonderful to have you, really.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Good to see you guys. Thanks for having me.
Stephen, one of the things that, and I'm just going to run right into this. One of the things that I read about you that I did not know is that your first foray into the entertainment business was you were the entertainment director for the Riviera Hotel and Casino.
Yeah. Before I started acting, I was a maitre d' in Vegas for years. I was a bouncer. I worked at Paul Anka's club. Then I worked at the Riviera. I used to book acts, all the comics, you name them, I booked them.
So who was at the Riviera? Was that Ash Resnick at the time?
Ash was gone. No, he was a friend of mine, though. He was at the Dunes when I started.
Yes. And so I'm going to throw another name. Here's another name for you.
Yeah.
Dan Chandler.
I did not know him.
You did not know Dan?
No.
Okay, so I was what you did for Caesars Lake Tahoe.
Oh, really? Oh.
Yeah, and so you knew Alan Margulies probably?
Yes, absolutely.
Tom Willard, all those guys? Yeah.
Absolutely, positively, yeah. So I did that. So I was booking acts, you know how it goes, and then lounge acts, the whole thing. And then one of the comics said, hey, let me put you in one of my sketches. I flew to L.A., did that. Really enjoyed it, and I kind of got the bug right there. I know it sounds like a cliche, but it was kind of like, wow. I was flying home from LA. I was kind of a little bit high and started taking a few lessons, auditioning around Vegas just as a hobby. Just it was fun. I had a good gig, at the hotel. I was living a good life. I had 2 kids, a wife, and, started screwing around. And then I went to New York for a wedding. Audition for The Sopranos, and that was that.
Wait a second. So The Sopranos was one of the first gigs that you got?
No, the first big gig. I had done some stuff before.
Okay.
I did a few movies. Yeah, I started in 93, 94, like that. Sopranos was in 99.
And you did Goodfellas, right?
No, I was not in Goodfellas.
Oh, I thought you were in Goodfellas.
No, I had a very small, in Casino,
Casino, yes.
Put up the volume and slow it down, you see me yelling, Joey, watch out, and that's how I got my card.
Wow. Well, you honestly, you were probably one of the very favorite characters in The Sopranos. I think everybody that I know knows who you are, knows The Sopranos, knows the show. I'm going to get to the ending because I still don't understand the ending.
Well, nobody does. Nobody does.
Nobody does? You don't either?
We have a podcast. It's over. It ended last year, but it's still out there. Very popular, Talking Sopranos. Me and Michael Imperioli, who played Christopher.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we had David Chase on 3 times, and he won't give it up. We tried every which way to get him to tell us, and he, I think it's up to everybody's own opinion what happened. Tony alive, Tony dead. I don't know. We've tried him. Talking to him, but he's not giving it up. So,
but what's Steven's opinion?
For a long time, I thought he was alive. Maybe it was wishful thinking. I thought he was alive and well and living in New Jersey. And as time has gone on, I kind of think he might have died there. But for years, that was my take on it, and I kind of flip flopped. The bell rings. He's there. The daughter is coming in the door. It's if you look at it again and again, I kind of feel he might have died. Yeah.
Steve, at what point in The Sopranos did you realize that what we are doing as a collective is really something special?
Well, I came on the second episode of the second season, so the show was getting popular, but it wasn't what it became.
Of course.
I didn't know, and I was kind of green. I didn't know. I knew this role. I worked really hard. I auditioned. I did 6 episodes that first season. Uh, I had to fly myself. I was living in Vegas. I had to fly myself out, put myself up in New York, and they were paying me crappy. And it cost me $24,000, and I made $22,000.
What?
I took a gamble on myself. My wife was all for it, and kind of made an investment, and hoping that the following year I would be a series regular, and that's what happened. But I didn't know. I know that the show got bigger and bigger. Year 2, year 3, year 4, and then it was just crazy. Being on the show was like playing for the New York Yankees.
Yeah.
4, 5, 6 of us walk into a restaurant, into a bar, and there was plenty of bars, believe me. So it was a once in a lifetime. We were truly friends, and a family. A lot of shows say that, and it's not true, but this really was something special,
And some of that seems to be, a lot of it really kind of emulated your background and your life. You were familiar with that. Is that
Sure.
right?
Well, I come from Bensonhurst, Brooklyn, and at the time, growing up there in the 60s and 70s, it was one of the biggest mob enclaves in the city, if not the biggest. All
Right.
Italian American. It's changed now, but back then they were all there. And you didn't know. Like all of a sudden you're on. You open up the paper. Oh, look, Joey's uncle just got arrested for killing 6 people. I thought he was just a baseball coach. You didn't know. We were everywhere. And I had friends that became mob guys. Some became doctors and pharmacists. Some got connected there. Guy across the street from me did 25 years. Played on my little league team. Who knows why a guy goes right, guy goes left. But yeah, I grew up around that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's glamorized. I think, and The Sopranos really did glamorize the life.
I don't think it did. That's right. I don't think it did.
Tell me about that.
I think it showed that it was crappy, and Tony Soprano had a gazillion problems, and I think that's what made the show so popular, because we could relate to this guy. It wasn't all. You saw the family, you saw the background, you saw the mother, the problems. Most mob things, they're in nightclubs, they're in strip clubs, and that's all you see. And it's
they're not at the therapist's office.
Absolutely. So though you saw that, listen, in my experience, a mob guy, you wind up dead or in jail. It's not a nice life. The guys at the top make all the money, and all these other guys, their whole goal is to push the money up the top to the big bosses. It doesn't end well almost always for them,
By the way, if you're just
Well,
tuning
that's pretty
in,
interesting. Did you have a favorite character other than yourself?
My favorite character was
Sopranos?
Paulie Walnuts. Paulie Walnuts.
oh, the best! I love Paulie.
Him and
I had at least.
him and Grandpa Munster, the only 2 people with those wings. They're
yeah.
the only 2 guys in the world. It
But-
never gets off. That hairdo.
I love it.
If you're just tuning in, Steve Schirripa, who plays obviously Bobby Baccalieri on The Sopranos, who will be in town, by the way, Saturday, October 8th at the Carnegie Library and Music Hall, in conversation with The Sopranos, thanks to Drusky Entertainment. When we come back, more talking Sopranos. This is Cars, Stars, and everything in between. Beautiful. Give me 1 second.
Really good stuff, Stephen.
Sure, man. What are we going to do? Another 9 minutes?
Yep. Yes. Yes, sir.
Another 9.
I'm just saving the first 9.
All right. I'm on Blue Bloods, too. You guys ever watch that show?
Absolutely.
I play a cop now.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. I've been on that show for 8 years. Where are you guys?
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh,
Wow.
Pennsylvania. Another heavy mob presence. It was at one time.
Yeah, they're still around, but they're fading.
Yeah, there's not many.
We
Not
used
many.
to go when the show was going on. We used to go to Mountaineer a lot.
Oh yeah,
We were friends with those
Oh, yeah.
cats. We
Ted
did a lot-
Ted Arnaud.
Ted Arnaud, yeah.
Give me 1 second. It's saving.
Ted Arnaud, he was like Roadhouse, the Ben Gazzara role.
Oh
He
yeah.
had dudes around him. That was the life he led. Big man in a little town.
Did you know a guy by the name of? Remember a guy by the name of Nick Busick, who's like
great guy, great guy.
Yeah, he passed away, right?
Yeah, I knew Nick well.
Nick was a great guy. All right, here we go.
Did you know Frank DeLeo?
No, I didn't know him. I know of him, but I didn't know him.
All right, here we go.
And when did you book Tahoe?
Oh my God, mid to late '80s.
Oh yeah. What was the girl's name? Wasn't there a girl there? Woman. She did Caesars in Vegas, and I thought she did Tahoe.
When I was there, Alan Margulies and Tom Willard did.
Willard had been around. He continued. I lost touch with Alan.
Yeah, I think he's back in Miami.
Oh yeah.
I think so.
All right, here
And then Robin Perlman. Did you know Cliff Perlman?
I know of him. I didn't know him.
Yeah. Interesting life.
100.1 FM, AM 1020, KDK, AM. He's the star, Richard Bazzi from Schultz Ford, schultzford.com. I'm Bubba from 100.7 Star. And if you love The Sopranos, you've got to go see Steve Saturday, October 8th at the Carnegie Library Music Hall for In Conversation with the Sopranos. So Bobby Baccalieri, but didn't everybody? Why? When I remember, it was always Bobby Baccalieri. That's just how everybody pronounced it, right?
That was his nickname, Bobby
Baccalieri. That's all I love. And by the way, you guys were talking about your favorite characters, and the one thing about The Sopranos that was amazing was the character development. But your character and how you played that role was absolutely amazing. And I'm not just saying this because we're having this conversation. Tony was my favorite character because he was so relatable, but you were a close second. And I'm just being honest with you. You were unbelievable.
Oh, it's fabulous.
They wrote me some really good stuff, and I worked very hard. I believe it or not, I got an acting coach as soon as I got to New York. I found a guy that was a huge help to me. Because I never took classes. I didn't like acting classes, but I worked one-on-one with a coach. I still do now.
Wow.
Yeah. So when I would get the material, he lived over in the East Village, and I would go to his apartment and we would break it down. And then a lot of times before I went to the studio to shoot it, I would go there and we would do it in his living room. It was kind of like, and then an hour later, I'm at the studio. So they just wrote me some really good stuff. Never told me anything about the character. You didn't, whatever was on the page is what you had to say. There was no ad-libbing, none of that.
Oh, that was a question I was going to ask you.
Yeah, not one word, not one word. And David Chase had been around TV, and he's a brilliant guy, and he don't take crap from nobody. I don't care who you are. It's his way. That's it. It's his show, and you're going to do what he says. And I don't mean that where you're being abused or anything. Just that say what's on the page. He didn't need your help ad-libbing, So there's next to none of that. We talk about all this stuff in the show. That's what the show is. What we're doing on October 8th. We show clips. We have a comedian, Joey Cola. He comes out first. Show clips. We come out, we show slides all during the show. We tell stories, all comedy driven. We tell inside, behind the scenes stories. Then we do a Q&A with the audience,
Boy, there's so much demand, so much appetite for that. Two things I'd like to say. First is I have a least favorite character. I absolutely hated Richie Aprile.
Yeah.
I wanted to come.
Well, when he came on screen, you got scared. You got uncomfortable.
Yes.
He was a creepy, creepy character. But David Proval, the actor, is a sweet, sweet guy, And
is he really?
He's nothing like that guy. Nothing at all. And, he told us a story on the podcast. He had been bouncing around for years. He was in Mean Streets. And then those guys around him, Harvey Keitel becomes a star, and Scorsese and De Niro. And he was one of the leads of Mean Streets. And David had kind of a journeyman's career. And he told us when he got the role, he said he flew out from L.A. He was putting the key in the door of the hotel room. And his manager called and told him he got it. He said he collapsed on the bed and broke down crying. I mean, and he had been doing this for, 40 years. He's an actor, 50 years. And he said he deserved this and he wanted it. And it only lasted one season. And he knew that's what it was going to be going in. But he really made an impact. Yeah.
Sure did.
He really did.
Listen, Janice was one of the most evil characters. And Aida Totoro is one of the nicest people you'll ever meet in your life.
Isn't that something? And so my second thing is, what's number 2 and number 3? Where did the train infatuation come from?
They just made that up. I have no idea.
They just made it up. And how did you feel about your demise in a train store?
David Chase, usually he would tell you, we would have a read through every show. And so everyone who was in that episode, and sometimes before it started, he would say, hey, can I see you? Take you in the office. Say, listen, we love you. You got to go. Blah, blah, blah. That's how it went down, right? So I'm at my apartment in downtown, and I get a call, hope for David. Now, listen, we're friends, but we're not close friends.
Right.
And he says, where are you? And I said, I'm at my apartment. He said, I'm coming over.
Uh-oh.
I went, my wife comes in. She said, who is that? I said, David's coming here. So I kind of went, uh-oh, is right? So the doorman rings him up. I open the door, and he goes, well, I guess you know why I'm here. Like a real hit, right? I went, well, I guess so. Come on in. And we sat at the table, and he was very vague, trained and thing. And I said, all right, well, I hope you like what I did. And so, yeah, absolutely. And I said, thank you for changing my life. And that was it. And I thought, the way they killed you off started to become like a badge of honor.
Okay. Oh, that's a great point.
So I thought mine was terrific kill. It's really well done. In that train store, that's a train store in Long Island called Trainland. And, I thought that was well done. Ralphie had a good one when they cut his head off in the bowling bag. I thought Christopher's was good. Some guys not as good as others. Some guys faded away. So I'm kind of proud of. I thought that was a pretty good one, and we shot it on Valentine's Day. Took 2 days to shoot that. Valentine's Day, because they shoot you and they put those squibs and it runs up your leg. So when the gun goes off, they're popping them out. So it looks like you're bleeding.
And was it hard to make the move from being from the mob to being a police officer in Blue Bloods?
No, not at all. I tell you what's funny is I've been on the show for 8 years. We're starting out. It starts October 7th. I'm shooting our 13th episode, 13th season, and I used to have fat, sweaty mob guys come up to me, give me advice. Now I got fat, sweaty cops giving me advice. I like that better. I like that better. No, it wasn't, because this show is well written also. Listen, it's a different kind of show. It's very popular. 10 million people watch it Friday night.
Wow.
The Reagan family, kind of like the Waltons, every Sunday they get together. They still say a prayer, before dinner. And, they asked me to do 1, maybe 2. And so I came in to do it, and I've done like 115.
Oh, wow.
That's fabulous.
Yeah. So this is well written. When something's on the page and it's good, it's much easier to act because you got to, you get some stuff, you go, how the hell am I going to make this sound real? Because it's written so badly. But Blue Bloods, just brilliant, the writers, So I like playing a cop. I mean, it's a detective, but he's a street guy detective, kind of, listen, I love Columbo.
Oh, yeah.
Peter Falk, and I love Kojak. I still watch them. Those were brilliant guys. And I was lucky. I'm in the last Columbo.
Oh, you're kidding.
I work with Peter Falk, and I'm in the very last, almost the very last scene of the last Columbo. Yeah.
Well, I found him to be genius.
Genius.
He really was.
Absolutely. And a beautiful, nice guy. I really liked him a lot. And when I got the role, you know, I auditioned and I got it. We became friends, and he was my mother's favorite actor. And I really enjoyed that, you know.
Yeah,
By
he
the
really
way,
had a nice style.
Steve is going to be in Pittsburgh on Saturday, October 8th at the Carnegie Library Music Hall for In Conversation with the Sopranos. Wow.
Yeah, there's a handful of tickets left. It's me, you know, Michael Imperioli, Christopher, and Vinny Pastore, Big Pussy. We have a comedian. I promise we've been doing this. We've done it 7-city tour in Australia, and we've done it all over the country. And we usually pack them in. This is going to be packed also. And if you're a Soprano fan, you don't want to miss it. It's a lot of fun.
Richard, what are you doing the 8th?
I'm not sure, but I'll tell you where I'm thinking I'm going to be.
With
You guys
me.
come out. I'd love to say hello. You know, you let me
I'd
know.
love to
But
say hello to
if
Steve.
you're a Soprano fan, it's a can't miss. We just did Red Bank, New Jersey, 1,400 people last week.
Wow.
We were in the Bahamas the other day. We did a high roller party, and you know, in between, we like to do these and keep it going. And there's so many fans and so many younger fans. You know, people that didn't watch it the first time around are watching
Yeah.
it now. Kids in their 20s, you know,
Yeah.
and with the streaming, it's all over the world. It's quite amazing how this show has kept going, you know.
It really is. And you know, you mentioned high roller parties. That sounds like what you do might be really good for the Las Vegas crowd.
You know, they kind of made us an offer, but believe it or not, it wasn't enough money. They keep saying that. But you know, we do theaters. You know, we do theaters. We've done Foxwoods. We've done the Borgata in Atlantic City. For some reason, Vegas. You know, so I suggested, how about Sopranos nude on ice? Would that be a good show? That'd be.
Not only do I think it's a great show, but I think it's a great way to end this. Steve, thank you so much for joining us for Car Stars and everything.
Nice talking to you guys. I hope to see you on the 8th.
I hope so, Stephen. Thank you.
You're
wonderful.
This is
absolutely did not disappoint.
Nope. This is Car Stars and everything in between.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll see you.
Nice to talk to you, sir. It's a blessing.
Thank you.